So, Gator, you said the Lions aren't a great team, and you gave reasons why. And I'm not going to debate that because it's an opinion, right?
I think they're
that
close.
Said, sure, but my point more to that is then what you're saying is there isn't a great team in all of football, because if we apply that same thing to all the other teams, including Kansas City and Baltimore and whatnot, we can find a part of each team that is less than.
This is true.
I agree. There is no great team in the NFL this year.
Yeah, I don't think it's happened yet. I think we're halfway through the season, and maybe I just need a couple more weeks to really formulate that opinion. Do I think the Lions are the best team in the National Football League? I do, but it doesn't necessarily mean they have to be great.
Right, fair enough. And that's what I just wanted to get out there, was that, that just because you don't think they're great, it doesn't mean you think anybody else is. Now, that said, you talked about the pass rush, which we all agree we would certainly love it to improve, because it really would make them an over-the-top great team. But in spite of that, if you look at they are at the top of the league in almost every passing statistic against. They have the lowest passer rating allowed to opposing quarterbacks. They're the only team that's allowed only one. They have not allowed more than one touchdown pass per game. And then there's a bevy of statistics in passing that they are, top 3 to 5 in the league for pass defense, in spite of not having a pass rush. So while I agree, they certainly could improve that, I don't think it's hurt or affected their ability to defend the pass in games. And, they've got a top 5 scoring defense. I mean, they hit all these other metrics in spite of not being able to put pressure on since Hutchinson went
Paul,
down.
it would be awfully tough for me to say that, and thanks for the call, to say that any team halfway through the season is great. Because we've seen it too many times. There's a first half team and a second half team. Right? Even the Lions a couple of years ago were dreadful in the first half and were amazing in the second half.
Correct.
Right? So, I mean, certainly you could argue with an 8-1 record at this point that they've been great. I'm just hesitant to do it just there because I do think that there's a big gap that they're missing from a pass rush. I don't think they strike fear in teams to this point where, the quarterback has to account for who's coming at him just yet. And maybe one of the reasons why they have this great quarterback rating against, and it is great. They lead the league. 75 is the quarterback rating against. It's amazing. Have they faced an outstanding quarterback yet? Or I shouldn't say outstanding. Have they faced good quarterbacks yet on the season?
Not really.
So I'm hesitant. That's all.
Yeah.
I love this team, and I'm excited about this team. And one of the other reasons why the rating against is so good is because they've got opportunistic safeties that have been picking everything off.
Yeah.
They got 13 interceptions on the season. That's second in the NFL to the Vikings' 15. So that's another reason why you'll see a quarterback rating plummet. And again, it's part of who they're playing against. They're not playing against great quarterbacks, and they're taking advantage of it. Good job.
I mean, who's the best quarterback they've played against?
C.J. Stroud, probably.
Yeah, and he has been disappointing the last few weeks.
They picked him off a couple times.
Yeah, especially without Nico Collins, he hasn't been. He hasn't been the same guy. I mean, look, they are going to face Josh Allen in a month.
Yes, they'll face Josh Allen. They'll face Brock Purdy. They'll face Jordan Love a second time, assuming he's healthy enough to play him again.
But then again, they got that back-to-back of Mac Jones and Anthony Richardson.
Well, careful.
No, I concede Anthony Richards has not been good, Gator.
Okay. All right, I'm sticking up for you.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. But I'll say it, guys, and Paul's right. It is an opinion. In my opinion, I think the Lions are a great football team. They don't have that name up front without Hutchinson anymore, but you read off the numbers. Yeah, part of being a great team is having great safeties, Gator, and the secondary's been really good. Arnold's had some issues early in the year, but he went a while without a penalty, got one recently. But overall, that offense is so good. The defense is so much better than what it was last year. They're 8-1. I think the teams, I'll say it, I think other teams kind of fear the Lions. They know what they're getting themselves into. And that stat about losing the following week after playing the Lions.
The Honolulu flu.
Yes, I feel that they feel physically beat up after they play the Lions. And mentally they go into games going, we got to go for it on fourth down. We got to pull out trick plays. We got to keep up with what the Lions do.
And when you talk about, we're basically getting into a semantics argument. Are they the best? We all think that they're the best team in the National Football League. When we look at great, we just look at these amazing, dominant teams that they don't appear to be, which is fine. And as far as, you talk about the offense, Ben Johnson said the offense has not really been as good as they would.
And they haven't been.
I know.
They have. I mean, look, 5 interceptions aside from last week, or just call it 5 turnovers because one of them was a fumble, but call it what it is. It's a lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
And it's not like Goff is throwing for 300 yards a game.
Correct.
They've been a very efficient offense. The difference is when they get in the red zone, they convert to touchdowns.
Right.
And that's huge for them. And the offense, without question, strikes fear in every team that they play because they can get you in so many different ways. Pick your poison. Do you want to stop Amon-Ra St. Brown, or are you going to try to stop the running game? And if you're going to try to stop Amon-Ra, what about J-Mo now that he's back on the team? And then you got Sam Laporta thrown in.
And even the pick your poison situationally, they have to sit there and guess, all right, wait a second, it's 3rd and 6. Are they really going to run the ball now? I mean, and because they've done that.
Because they've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a very, very good football team. So,
damn right.
And I'm that close to saying great. I just hesitate at this point. 248-539-9797 is a telephone number, and it's because it's halfway through the season. I just don't make those conclusions just yet. If you threw a fork to my nose in a dark alley, I'd say yes.
It's amazing that
but we're not in a dark alley. There's no fork to my nose.
It's amazing we're halfway through. It just seems like.
You think it's flying by?
No, I think it's going way too slow for my liking.
Right, because college football is like winding up, and the NFL is like, oh, we're only halfway through this. And like, as Lions fans, because we have such high expectations, we want to get to the postseason already.
Yes.
We don't want to see this team go through any more adversity, another injury or 2 or more. Nobody wants to see that. And
I think part of it is also when the Lions had the bye. I think if they had the bye a few weeks later, we might feel like different time chronologically. You know,
well, maybe, but the bye also came at a pretty good time.
I'm not blaming. I'm not complaining. I'm just talking about perception as how many more games we have left.